Hey, welcome back. So today's video, we're going to be putting the cams into, this is an LTR 450 motor, obviously. Um, and I'm just going to try to walk my way through this and explain it. And let's uh, let's get into it. So the first thing you want to do is make sure you're top dead center. And so to do that, if you've never done this, there's a T mark in here, and you'll rotate it here with a 17 millimeter till you get that T. There's a T and a line, um, and it's going to rotate with your chain because your chain's on your. You want to make sure your chain's on your sprocket down in here. And I was rotating this the other day, otherwise I would have had it already set. And sometimes they're hard to see where they're at. You just want to rotate this so your top dead center, pistons at the top. Okay, I believe that's it right there. And that's it. I like to just hold this. Usually I'll use a zip tie to hold the chain. Just hold it in place. Man, let me see if I can. I don't. Jesus Christ. I don't know if you can see it down in there, but there's a T on the top of that, and then it has a little line. It's a super small hole, so sorry if you can't see that, but there's a T. That's your top dead center, so your piston's all the way up at the top. Obviously, you want to pull your spark plug out when you do this. So that's on there. Your chain's on your sprocket that's down in your motor. Now you want to do, I always start on the exhaust side, and on these, they have these little grooves like this. These are pain in the ass, and you do not want to drop them down into the motor. I know why, because it sucks. See if that's a better angle. They got a little groove right here, and that's what they set in. So it goes right here in the little groove. You want to make sure you get those in there. I do one at a time, and then you want to do your exhaust side. Here's your exhaust side versus your intake side. They are different. And what I like to do, shout out to my dad for always showing me tricks. Put a little paint pen on your marks, your timing marks, and you want them to be up and out. And so pull your chain off, and when you put your gear in here, you want to make sure you don't knock that piece that we just put in there down in the hole there. The first one's easy. Kind of just want to set it in there where you're going to be timing mark wise. And again, because I have references, this is a Suzuki book, and there's your timing marks: out, out, up, and up. And then you'll do 15 the links on the, not the links, the actual pins on the chain. You'll count those out to make sure there you're in time. So I could bolt this one down, but I'm gonna wait till I get the other one in. And something I always do also is I take the dowel pins, these dowel pins, and I make sure they're on this side. I like them on that side versus having them on down here. I like to have them on the motor side. So same thing. We want it to be out and up when we put this in. Now this one's a little bit trickier. And obviously we want to make sure we put this little keeper in. And we want to make sure the chain ain't bound up. So I know I'm going to be off on my, once I pull the chain, you can see my timing marks are off. So I'm going to rotate the cam while I'm here. And I got this one. I can just rotate the cam, put it back on the chain. And that's close to where I want to be. Now we're going to try to put this one in there. Now you do this a few times and you're going to get good at it. It's been a minute. And we should be close, right? Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15. So when you count these, so your timing marks right here, you're up and out. Same for here is you're up, and your other one's right here, it's out. And then when you count these timing marks, you're counting your pins right here. There's 15 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And that's what you want is 15. So you got those set in there. And then so you can bolt these down. And you can pull these out. There's now this is probably obvious, but there's a long bolt and a short bolt. Obviously, short bolt go here, long bolt goes on this side. We want to get those in there, both sides. And those will be a 10 millimeter. And I'm not cranking these down super tight. It's more likely we'll have to pull them out. We just want to snug these up just so we can check the valves. technically you could probably just tighten 2 of these up. But we're here. We're gonna hopefully the valve should be pretty close. I think this bike when I picked it up, it started right up, so which really surprises me because I ran into this. This is the piston, and it's actually missing a ring right here. This middle ring is there's, I don't know if you can see that. There is no ring in this middle groove, which there should be. It's really strange, but that's how it is sometimes. And so if you've never checked your valves, you want to have your valve tool so you can tell what you're supposed to be. And I think these are your intakes 10 to 20. So you're I don't know if you can see this. That's 0.10, so that's 10. That's your intake side. So this is your intake side over here. Carburetor, fuel injection, my bad, goes here. So your intake side. And you want to slide these under your valve cams, and I'll grab the camera to show you. You want it in between 0.10 and 0.20. So that's 0.10, and they went in there super easy. So we'll spin this out to 0.20. And that's tight. That don't go under there. It's snug. For reference, we're just going to do 0.15. And that's fine. So these sides are good. So let me see if I can show you guys. So let me I'm left-handed, but I'm ambidextrous, so it's going to be hard to do this left-handed. So here's where you're checking. You want to slide this underneath. It should slide nice and good right underneath there, and then the other side, which is right here, should be good. Now if you had one too tight, then you're gonna change the pucks out in them, and they look like if you haven't done this, it's really not too difficult. I would suggest two things that I would buy if you're just gonna change your or adjust your valves, right? You want to get one of these kits which has all your little pucks in there. They're not bad. Usually use about the same ones. And something else that is handy to have is one of these. Just sometimes when you pull these apart, and they have numbers on them, but if the numbers are worn off, then you don't know where you're starting. So if you get one of these, you can measure the size of the the pucks that are in the motor if the numbers are worn off. And by that I mean, I don't know if you'll be able to see, but these have numbers on them. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but there's numbers on those, and those will get worn out when they're inside there banging up and down. So sometimes you can't read them. So if you get a micrometer like that, you can just put it on it and read them. And then if you got to go bigger, smaller, then if you have one of these kits, they go by fives, so you'll have the right number. Then it's a lot easier to have one of those than it is for me to then have to order them. Then you got to wait. So intake side 0.10 to 0.20. Your exhaust side is 0.20 to 0.30. So we got a 0.30, which is pretty thick. That's a no-go. So let's go to 0.2. That goes. That's just fine. And these are the same. Same concept here. This is where you want to go. You want to go under there and under here. So when you check these, it just needs to move freely underneath there. And I'm good with that. I'm happy with that. They're fine. And then you can look up the torque specs on these. You don't want to over tighten these that are in aluminum. You could really screw one up. And then that's about it. You want to make sure your gasket's on here. Make sure your head's clean, or your head valve cover. I really got to take the sparklies off this, so I don't think I'm going to put it on yet. But otherwise, I would throw that on there, and then we're good. And then you can put your tensioner on there. And this has a little piece here where you push this in like that, and then you'll slide that back. You want to loosen this up. I pull this out all the way. This has a spring in there, and so you'll push this in that like that, so don't have no tension on there. And it also, when you put it in here, it says up on the one side. Oh shit. And you want to make sure, I'll put it around here somewhere. You want to make sure that has the, oh, here it is, the gasket on there. So it has a gasket. You want to make sure your gasket's on there. And you slide that bad boy in there. And we'll grab an Allen wrench. You want to tighten these up. You know, I probably should have done more videos, but sometimes I like to listen to music while I'm in here. And obviously YouTube does not like that. So a lot of times I don't film these, and I probably should. Maybe a lot of this is for my own reason. So you put your spring goes in there, and then you'll tighten this up. Now it's got tension behind that, obviously, because it's pushing that out against your chain, which tightens your cam chain up. So your chain's nice and tight now. We'll make sure we tighten this up, but you can see your chain nice and tight. That's how you want it. And we'll tighten this up. I think it's got to be a 12 millimeter. So we just tighten this up, and then we're good. And that is how you put your cams and your valve, adjust your valves in there. I think that's it. Again, top dead center. Make sure you put those little sleeve pieces in there, and then it's pretty simple. You just don't want to drop any of those pieces down inside there. I have. It's no fun actually. Last week I dropped one in there and I had to pull the whole side case right here. You pull that off and you can get in there. But we're just about done with this motor, and we can put it back in this bike and hopefully ride it soon. I just got to get this sparkly black stuff off here. I don't even know what anybody was thinking. Anyway, hope that helps. Um, Maybe the camera did a crappy job. I don't know. It's probably the cameraman, but hope hopefully it helps. And thanks for watching.